In my report, I was going to go give a review of last year, and this past year has been a year of, I believe, fortitude, resilience, and sustainability to survive the challenges that all previous sovereignty efforts had experienced, and how to maintain the course of action to keep people interested and participating when Mother Time has inflicted exhaustion into the process and infecting participation. In more simple words, I can tell you the challenge to maintain what we're doing is really one of the most difficult things to do. And that is to continue an effort where there's very little praise, acknowledgments, and of course, successes that a lot of times when you're involved with a process, you get to see the end result of why you're involved in this particular process. There is no end. There's only continuity. And I tell you, it takes a lot of dedication to maintain that level. And this is what I saw this past year. Many have reflected to me on the hardship. And it's because of, again, people are exhausted, and this to me, it shows the strength of what we've been able to maintain. Okay? And this past year, LHD was faced with the challenge to address certain issues that LHD had invoked in its process when we agreed to grant government-authorized exercises, better known as the GAEs, to impose our rights to travel, claim lands, conduct business, and utilize our national identification cards. The result of these exercises have created numerous legal challenges that LHD and its nationals have vigorously contested in the de facto legal courts with mixed results. In some situations, for example, the right to travel, some cases have been dismissed, while others have not. In other situations, certain islands have succeeded where some islands have fallen behind. But the reality is that unless we're going to accept certain challenges to promote and continue to progress what we believe we can accomplish, how else did we expect anything to happen unless we made that possible? Okay? I will take this time to share a synopsis on the subject of the right to travel by stating that the exercise of this right has resulted in our government and nationals gaining valuable knowledge necessary to learn and understand how to challenge the de facto government and their judicial system to defend our right to travel, or as a matter of fact, all other rights that a sovereign nation possess and exercise. Because implementing the right to travel, I don't think that LHD could have continued to progress toward forcing the de facto governments to respect who we are and why we are implementing such actions. If I recall correctly, there was strategy that was designed with the whole right to travel exercise, and our government had drafted an agreement between the LHD and the National, who wished to assist the government by accepting the right to travel. In summary, that agreement stated that LHD did not have legal expertise and could not provide legal services. Therefore, those who accepted to run LHD license plates registrations accepted the challenge and consequence. I want to commend those that have stepped forward to exercise their right and their belief in supporting moving our government forward toward recognition. This has been a courageous act, and I want to share with all in attendance that there are consequences, such as exorbitant fines that a national faces when cited for running LHD's license plates. I also want to state that the original strategy was to promote LHD through the placement of the plates on the vehicle so we could encourage more participation in LHD. I still think this can be executed, but those wishing to participate must understand that there still remain consequences of being stopped and cited for running LHD vehicle plates along with de facto plates. This right to travel, this has been since we forced the de facto government to recognize our right to travel, but our persistence is making a positive difference as we pursue recognition. This past year was a year spent in studying, research, analyzing, adapting, and better understanding how to implement and execute more effectively, particularly in the legal system, from learning courtroom rules, procedures, conduct, court filings, responses, or answering the court or opponent's applications. We are steadily improving our legal skills to become more adequate and aggressive for the de facto government's continued suppressive acts against our nationals. One example, the Maui County prosecutors had retried our Kaho'olawe case 1 year ago, after 8 years had passed, and the Hawaii Supreme Court had dismissed the case without prejudice. According to some legal advisors, this case was supposed to be airtight and there was little room for LHG's defendants to come out successful. Well, in December, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Nelson Armitage, was found not guilty and his case was acquitted. I believe it has a lot to do with how the case was handled, and there were different tactics that was applied that created this opportunity. As I stated earlier, LHG is definitely learning and improving their legal skills, and because of the previous legal encounters, we are able to dissect what works, what is questionable, which has improved our chances of defeating or repelling the de facto courts from suppressing our nationals and finding them guilty. Another legal challenge that LHG has entered is a land claim on Maui at Maliko Gulch. I believe that this is where the 39th Manukau Kanawai was conducted last year. This court case may be the break point that we were looking for because of the potential possibility that has arisen since implementing the challenge for the land. Okay? I state that because one, the land case involves a private corporation, which happens to be the biggest corporation in Hawaii, Alexander and Baldwin, versus Mr. Nelson Armitage et al. And the reinstated Hawaiian nation, / lawful Hawaiian government. This court case, was made possible because of previous attempts on our behalf as a government to exercise again our right to the lands that we rightfully own. Okay? And that was, the first one was the claim at Kaho'olawe. Okay? That claim included challenging the state of Hawaii's title. Alright? And as I mentioned earlier, where that case is currently located. Okay, like I said, we've won out of the 3 parties that's involved. Mr. Armitage has been dismissed and acquitted, and myself and Mr. Kahokele remain in the case. And personally, I can't see how we cannot win that case. Okay, and the second one was on Maui. Yeah, we went to Wai'ehu Beach Park, and we went there and began the claim at Wai'ehu Beach Park. Okay? That involved the county government. Okay? And we were there, I believe, for almost 4 months, 4.5 months, before finally they decided that they wanted to force us off of the property. And lo and behold, the entire case was thrown out of court. They didn't want to deal with it. But these were the learning experiences of our government. Okay? Because when you claiming land against the state of Hawaii or the county of Maui, they have what I call a very devious plot or method to avoid having their so-called claim of that land challenged. And it's called sovereign immunity. The state created a law where you cannot challenge title to the land, and that's it. So we learned, yeah, from those 2 previous experiences. So when we went into the private land claim, okay, we had already decided that, okay, this is why we should do such actions. And we've been at Maliko Gulch now going on 3 years. 3 years, okay, just last year, in fact, I'm talking about this past year, not this year. This past year, it took them, when I say them, it took Alexander and Baldwin and the courts, an entire year to get granted a preliminary permanent injunction against our government and against our nationals. An entire year. That, I'm going to be very open with you, have never happened in Hawaii. To take that long to arrive and granting an injunction by the court is, to me, such a positive result that we continually analyze why are we remaining in this case and how come the most powerful corporation isn't able to get rid of us. And as we continue the case, lo and behold, what ends up happening is we end up again learning, yeah, the steps necessary for us as a government to, quote unquote, be able to help our Kanakas who actually have in their possession lawful land titles, raw patents, and land commission awards. Okay, so as we continue to, again, learn, study, research, we've only improved upon how to address some of the most critical situations that our Kanaka people are faced with. Okay? This court case has lasted over a year, and during the course of the case, she has learned a lot about the legal system when applied to an issue and the issues that it has to confront. In fact, there's been significant information and practices that we will be able to apply when we execute a national GAE land claim. Okay? This land claim, yeah, will will definitely be issued or be controlled by LHG, not to take individuals' lands, but to organize, to begin to organize our Kanaka Maoli, so that we, as a people, as a government, can finally participate as one united body, to make this clean. Okay? Now, I will share with you some of the requirements to participate in this land claim organized by LHG. If you've ever experienced trying to resolve your land issues, Kanakas, with land issues in Hawaii, if it wasn't for the Alexander and Baldwin case, I still would be totally without knowledge as to why our Kanaka people, who actually possess their land patents, their lands, and yet end up losing their lands in the court of law. For years I've been, I just couldn't understand how that could happen to certain families that I've known for years, and I know they've been in the battle, but yet it's incredible how you can have all the documentation showing that you are the proper owner of these lands, and yet end up losing it in a court of law. Well, this is why I believe that it has taken this long, because it was necessary to research, to study, to learn how we can now be able to confront what I've always witnessed as being something that was so unjust, so corrupt, to finally bring it to the forefront where these activities against our Kanaka Maoli people can no longer occur. Okay? And I do know that in order to encounter these challenges, it does take an immense amount of funding. I mean, it's incredible. Some families that have paid up to $40,000 just to get a title search on their property. The odds on retaining what is rightfully yours is stacked so against the Kanaka that you either cannot afford to preserve your right to the claim, or how's this? You cannot maintain the action in court because it costs so darn much and it takes so long, and these are all premeditated actions. And I tell you, I thank Aqua, okay? Because as we've been in the land case, we definitely have been writing everything up so that when we're capable of understanding or knowing, not just understanding, knowing why the Kanaka lost his land, we're able to now change that situation. Okay? So in our studies, what I realized was there are some huge disadvantages. And in our next government action that we're going to be presenting to our people, this is what we're telling them. One, you just need to get your land deed. Okay, you need to get your land deed, which whatever it is, your raw patent or your land commission award, your Mahele award, your Kameme award, all prior to the overthrow of January 1890. Okay, all prior. All right. Number two, like anything else, you need to be identified if whether or not that land patent that you're bringing forward, you are properly connected to it, which means in order for us to assist, yeah, you will have to have your genealogy today in the land court system. These are their requirements, okay, and these are ours. But now this is where I believe that LHG can make the separation, and that is, yeah, that we're going to assist, yeah, our Kanakas to provide or assist them with a status research report. A status report, okay? Something that we're just going to run through it, try to make sure that your dots connect to the patent, okay? And not a full title search report. Personally, I believe that it's not necessary since we've been in this court case. I realize the hardships that I see when you have to provide a full title research, which means you got to go to what is that, title guarantee, and they got all these escrow whatever guarantees out there. Holy mackerel, they charge you an arm and a leg because you got to go back. You got to go back to the inception of the deed. All right. So personally, I feel that we're capable now of being able to sort of mitigate that situation, yeah, and try to assist each Kanaka in having at least a trail of their property, okay? And then third of all, right, we're going to demand, LHG will demand that each land deed or the family's land deeds are represented by a 3-member committee. Okay? That their family, okay, shall represent their entire descendant lines. And that, I believe, is an internal thing, okay? And we're demanding that there be 3 members. To those, I'm only saying those who want to participate in our lawful Hawaiian government offer of reclaiming our lands. Okay? And, you know, when I sat down and really debated this issue, I've always kept in mind, one, yeah, that I'm not going to question you on whether or not that's your land deed or not. That's going to be your responsibility. But I will inform everyone that don't take us lightly, okay? Because we know how to extract information. Okay? We will know whether or not your claim is a proper claim or not. Why? We've spent a lot of time training ourselves, okay, learning and understanding what and where and how these patents or who it belongs to. Okay? So, like I said in the beginning, I'm just praying that the families, yeah, who've had trouble before or who want to have our government's assistance, yeah, in preparing to participate in our national claim, we need to get started. Okay? The question is, right, when will this be executed? I'll be very open with you. I think it's going to take at least, 9 months to a year to prepare this claim across the island chains. Okay? I plan on actually making weekends available so that I will be on your island. So I will be working with the organizers to start setting up presentations. I will actually go back out into the community, okay, and start re-educating our people to the value of why we reinstated our government, why did we do that? And then, of course, to assist them in understanding, yeah, why they should participate, yeah, in this land claim. Okay? So I don't expect you as an individual to understand, okay, how this land claim actually works, because it does, it takes a lot of insight and understanding to make it work. But I do know one thing, that you as a government official, yeah, you know what reinstatement is about. And I personally know that there are too many families that have been injured or are in the process of being injured by losing their lands. So this is one of the things that I'm excited about for this upcoming year, that we're going to be out there as a government, yeah, and assisting and helping those with raw patents and LCAs on preparing to participate in our national land claim. Okay? Yeah, overall, this past year has provided LHG with the insight of how we as a government can assist our nationals to prevail against the de facto government and become more astute in preparing to execute all actions, be it the right to travel or to claim lands. This year LHG has its election, and it is important that everyone participate in the preparation of the elections. Our Minister of Interior, Naliko Makel, will be in charge of organizing the elections. From past experiences, it is strongly recommended that organizing the election on every island should commence immediately, and with the due diligence of fulfilling the responsibilities and obligations to ensure the success of the election. Last night, our Minister Merkel, had actually shared the process, and I believe that he did provide, documentation for each island to go home, make those copies so that all of the government officials have copies, and also to be able to make copies so that we can get people to participate with us. Okay? I think the most important thing, and it always has been, is educating our Kanaka people to participate in their government process. Okay? And a part of educating our Kanaka people is, of course, encouraging them to sign on to our process. Okay? And this, for all the years that we've been doing this, it has been an ongoing thing, and I am really proud to announce that we've passed the 5,000 marker, okay, all citizen applicants that have signed on with us. And our nationals, as all of you are aware, there's a two-step process in our government, and that is you do the application stating that you want to participate, and then the second application is you become a national of our country. And currently, I believe that we've got close to 400 nationals that are signed on. You know, I tell you, that's a great accomplishment to have individuals who start making commitments to a process that is challenged. We are challenged. I'm telling you, in everything we do, there has not been an open field for us. We have to cut our trails. Okay? And for me, as I told you before, I don't know when this is going to occur. I can only keep encouraging you that we need to move forward. Okay? And as Lalito stated last night, the value of these elections is the record. we have an awesome record of government activity that supports everything we believe in. Now, how and why that will assist us? This year, we actually been preparing to enter into the last level, okay? And the last level is at the international arena. You know, we've taken every effort to make sure that we cover our bases. We have solid documentation, okay, to support our government's claim to the right to recognition and sovereignty at the final level. Okay? I see the land claim, the action of the land claim as being a part of letting the international arena, letting the United States government know that, hello, you cannot tell us you don't own the lands and yet do nothing about it. It became our responsibility, not theirs. It's our responsibility to respond. The federal government told us they don't own the lands. Sure as heck the state doesn't, or the county doesn't, right? Well, who does? I believe we do. I believe we took all of those opportunities to make that happen. And now that we have, like I said, we've grown, we're understanding, and we're capable of organizing ourselves to make, I believe, will be one of the greatest steps taken on our behalf, okay? To get our people to understand that being a part of LSG is definitely the place to be, okay? You know, this past year, there was and still is a very strong push on behalf of our detractors, you know, which of course is the United States government, the state of Hawaii, okay, and unfortunately some of our own Tanaka organizations, you know, have made their open and conscious decision to provide our people with a sovereignty process. And I mean, earlier this year we had hearings that went throughout the entire island chain, right? And if you paid attention, the voice was never more united and more strong than what I witnessed during these hearings. Okay? I know for a fact that our people have actually awakened, and they're ready to hear that this is an option that has been planned for 16 years, and you're capable now of making this decision to either let those detractors take away from what is ours, or be a part of taking what is ours. Okay? And I believe that is what one of our goals was years ago, was to prepare the moment so that we can offer our people that opportunity. So here we have the elections. Here we have our lawful Hawaiian government now assisting reclaiming their lands, and the outcome that I see is we're finally going to be as one. You know, we're finally going to accomplish the most elusive goal or objective that I've witnessed in Hawaii, and that is trying to offer our people an opportunity to unite too. Okay? So I'm excited for this year, all right? because it gives us this opportunity of getting Kanakas who are in dire straits, who need help, and we're capable of providing that to them. Okay? And then, of course, the last thing that I wanted to share with you, was the fact that it's important, that after you leave today, okay, that you put in more time in understanding your involvement with LHG, okay? Because, you know, sometimes I have the opportunity to listen to how some of our government officials and our citizen applicants talk about, you know, what LHG is about, and I think if you just put a little bit more time into honing that skill, you'll be able to convince a lot more Kanakas, that just participating in our process will make the difference between whether or not we're going to be able to maintain who we are in Hawaii, or we're going to let this chance slip out of our hands. Okay? And that can only come from us. You know? So you have to, okay? You have to learn now how to get back out there, how to start organizing our elections, how to get people more excited. Of course, I will be forwarding out the information as far as the land, participating in our Lawful Hawaiian government land claim and what needs to be done so that this information can be given to the families in your district, on your island, so they have an opportunity to look at it and, you know, be aware that this opportunity is now here. And I believe that will definitely impact this process. So having said that to all of you, okay, again, don't let yourself feel exhausted. Don't let yourself feel frustrated, okay? Because I believe Akua has opened this door and we finally will be able to see the fruits of our labor, you know? And before I close, once again, I'd like to thank all of those who have taken the time to come to participate in this process. I know that it's always a challenge, it's always a task, but how else are we supposed to overcome shortcomings that we've lived in all our lives if we don't make these dedicated commitments? Okay? I'd like to thank our host, Uncle Robert Kiliumala and his family, for hosting our 48th annual Manukau Kanawai. And of course, I would like to also thank our organizers who organized this event and having it here. And I also would like to thank our Puli family for providing and making the meals for us. Mahalo so much to you guys. Okay? And right now, I just want to say thank you for all of your dedicated time. And mahalo.